Welcome to Biology, My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We have been dealing with the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. First we discussed the structure of DNA in detail. Then we also discussed the characteristics of the DNA and RNA so that we could find that DNA is a better genetic material. But still, RNA also acts as genetic material in certain viruses. But majority of higher organisms have DNA. But which was the first genetic material? It was of course RNA. Then why was it replaced by DNA? So previously we discussed RNA is unstable and it is very reactive. We also discussed the structure of RNA, but we will quickly go through that again. RNA had two functions initially. One, to act as a genetic material and act as a catalyst. You know what are catalysts? Catalysts speed up the rate of a reaction without involving in it. But biological catalysts are nothing but enzymes, or they are basically proteins. But there are certain reactions in our body which cannot be catalyzed by biological catalysts or enzymes, but specific RNA catalysts are required. So being catalysts, RNA are reactive and unstable. These two characteristics are not suitable for a genetic material. Then later, since RNA was unstable, DNA evolved from RNA with certain modifications. So what are the additional features that made DNA a better genetic material? RNA is single-stranded whereas DNA is double-stranded. So double-stranded nature gave it more stability, and also it has got a repairing mechanism so that the sudden mutations or changes can be minimized. Then thymine is the nitrogen base present in DNA instead of uracil, that also confers stability to DNA. Absence of 2'OH group. You know that if you see the structure of the sugar, DNA has deoxyribose sugar in it, RNA has ribose sugar. So the second carbon there is an OH group, third also OH group. Whereas in DNA this OH is absent. So it gives more stability to DNA. Now if you look at the structure of RNA, RNAs are long molecules and they are single-stranded. But exceptions are there. In some viruses, the genetic material RNA are actually double-stranded. Then it is a polymer of ribonucleotide. Polymer means what? Molecule of many monomers. So we already learned the DNA or RNA made up of nucleotides. Here it is made up of ribonucleotide because ribose sugar is present. Apart from that, what are the components of a nucleotide? After sugar, a phosphate group is there and also nitrogen bases. In RNA, the nitrogen bases are adenine, uracil, guanine and cytosine. Our genetic material is DNA, but still we have RNA in the cell for various functions. Okay, so in the cell usually there are three types of RNA. So they are collectively called cellular RNA. Which are the three types of cellular RNA? First one is mRNA. mRNA means messenger RNA, or it can also be called as template RNA. The second type is ribosomal RNA. As the name indicates, this RNA is involved in the formation of ribosome, which is the protein synthesizing factory of the cell. tRNA. tRNA stands for transfer RNA. As the name indicates, it transfers amino acids for the protein synthesis. So all these are involved mainly in protein synthesis. If you look at messenger RNA, it is otherwise called a template RNA. Why? Because we know that protein synthesis happens in the cell. So proteins are big molecules of amino acids. The sequence of amino acid is determined by the information present on the messenger RNA. From where it is coming on the messenger RNA? Because messenger RNA is copying the information from DNA. Okay, so that's why it is called a template RNA. So contains information about sequence of amino acid in protein. And you know that proteins are long molecules or big molecules. They have more than 100 amino acids. So they are different mRNA coding for different proteins. So they are the longest and mostly they are linear. They don't fold. Okay. Then only 5% of the cellular RNA are mRNA, and they are always single-stranded. Now, next is rRNA. So usually these RNA are formed during the early developmental stage from the DNA itself, different parts of DNA. But here the rRNA is forming within the nucleolus. If you remember, within the nucleus there is a darkly stained structure called a nucleolus. So from the nucleolar DNA, the ribosomal RNA is forming. This ribosomal RNA undergoes coiling and it combines with certain proteins to form ribosome. You know, ribosome is a cell organelle which is involved in protein synthesis, and it's a non-membrane bound cell organelle, right? So the highly coiled RNA combines with a protein. But if you look at eukaryotes and prokaryotes, they have different types of ribosomes based on the sedimentation coefficient that we represent using S, that is Swedberg unit. So eukaryotes have 80 S ribosome, whereas prokaryotes have 70 S ribosomes. And ribosomes have two subunits, a larger subunit and a smaller subunit. So if it is a eukaryote, 80S ribosome, which are the subunits? The larger subunit is 60S and the smaller one is 40S. Whereas in prokaryotes, it is 70S ribosome, which has a larger subunit 50S and a smaller subunit 30S. Now, the 60S subunit is a combination of different types of rRNA or ribosomal RNA. There is 28S ribosomal RNA, 5.8S ribosomal RNA and 5S ribosomal RNA. This is actually a high molecular weight rRNA. This is a low molecular weight rRNA. So they combine three types, 28, 5.8 and 5. They combine with more than 45 types of basic proteins. They all come together as a complex and act as the larger subunit of the eukaryotic ribosome. Now what about the smaller subunit? It has 18S ribosomal RNA and 33 proteins in them. Okay. Then prokaryotes, 50S, where 23, 5 and 34 basic proteins. Here 30S smaller subunit has 16S. 16S means the medium or less molecular weight. Neither high nor very less, but it is in the medium range. 16S ribosome, RNA and 21 basic proteins are there. So the rRNA forms ribosome with the help of proteins. Okay, so they form 80% of the cellular RNA. So the most important type or the majority of them are the rRNA, and they are formed inside the nucleolus as I mentioned. Now coming to tRNA. tRNA or transfer RNA, as I mentioned, transfers amino acid from the cytoplasm to the ribosome and mRNA for protein synthesis. So we have different types of amino acids. 20 different types of amino acids are there. So there are different tRNA for carrying each type of amino acid. But earlier it was thought that there were only 20 different types of tRNA, but later found that more than the number of amino acids, there are types of tRNA. So 15% of the total RNA are tRNA. Then they are the smallest RNA, or they are otherwise called as soluble RNA, because their size is so small that it is difficult to separate them using centrifugation. That's why they are called as soluble RNA. Then a scientist called Holley, he proposed a two-dimensional structure of RNA called a clover leaf model. So RNA, we know it is a single-stranded structure, but it can undergo folding. So wherever base pairing comes in that, the complementarity, the base pairs will join using hydrogen bonds. Wherever the pairing is not there, that part will act as a loop. So he proposed the model. You can see the cloverleaf model here. So it is in the two-dimensional view, we call it as cloverleaf model, and if the three-dimensional view, it looks like an L-shaped structure. Okay. Now For that, self-folding is happening and base pairing also. So you can see that all these parts here all, what is there? Base pairing has happened because there was complementarity. So these parts are called stems. Whereas these bulged parts are called a loop. They don't have any complementarity, so they are appearing as loops. Okay. So we need to study the structure of tRNA in detail because we are learning it for protein synthesis. Since its main function is to bring amino acid, it should have one arm for holding the amino acid. A linear RNA molecule is actually folding to become the cloverleaf structure. So it will have ultimately two ends, 3' end which is an OH group and a 5' end phosphate group. So always the 5' end will have guanine cytosine base pairs, whereas the 3' end will end or terminate in CCA sequence. Okay, so that end is otherwise called an acceptor end because to that end what will come attach amino acid. So here comes the TC arm where we write as T5C. So this is thymine, this is pseudouracil and cytosine. So it has got a stem and a loop. This side is for attachment of ribosome. Then there is a variable arm. It has only stem but no loop. Then anticodon arm is there which has got 3 anticodons which are complementary to the codons on the mRNA. Then here D arm, again stem and loop both are present. The D arm is for recognizing and binding to enzyme. Then this is the 5' end. So this is the structure of a tRNA. Basically you have to study the acceptor end where the amino acid will come and bind, and the anticodon arm which is complementary to the amino acid sequence present in the mRNA. tRNA is different from the other types of RNA in having unusual bases. We know usual bases are adenine, uracil, guanine and cytosine. But here some unusual bases are also present in tRNA because tRNA freely floats in the cytoplasm. So there is more chance of getting degraded by RNase enzyme. To protect it from the action of RNase enzyme, there are unusual bases like a methyl cytosine, means a methyl group or a CH3 group is added to cytosine to prevent it from degradation, or methyl guanosine. Hope you enjoyed learning with me about RNA. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology My Passion.